Round one upsets continue. Oh my God. Everyone's NRL tipping is screwed. If you get 8 out of 8 this week, you don't get rugby league. I'm sorry. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Friday night football review for round one of the NRL. And some surprise results again tonight. We had the Sharks beat the Warriors at Mount Smart Stadium in New Zealand after leading 12-0, and Melbourne beating Penrith 8-0 at Amy Park. I'm joined by Cody's Footy World. Cody, I'm not sure what you make of this, but what a crazy round it's been.
Yeah, the trend of upsets continue. We saw it in last night's game between Knights Raiders. Now we saw it with both games today.
Now, for those of you that are wondering about surprises, let me just say this. Every team that has been the outsider on the odds has won. Manly were outsiders against Souths. They won. Roosters were outsiders against Brisbane. They won. Raiders were bloody $3 last night. They won. Sharks were $2.50 before kickoff. They got up. And Melbourne were about $2.85, and they won as well. So a team that has been the favourite on the odds hasn't won. So based off that theory, the Bulldogs and Dragons should win tomorrow. But surely a team that's favourite is going to fucking win this weekend. As a Cowboy supporter, I'm a little bit worried now because we're favourite against the Dolphins this weekend. So crazy night. Crazy fucking weekend it's been. Before we get into the review, I just want to acknowledge the live chat. We have got 22 people watching the stream. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. 26 people now that it's going up. Great to see. Hello to Marley, Josh, Kyle, Gary Jones, Hosea. And we got a fan from America, Para 2024. Hey, Nick, love your content all the way from America. Shout out to the American Rugby League fans. Thank you very much. Rishi, Hosea, Marley, Bosky, Harley, my goodness, William Pearson, Tom Mitchell, everyone is here. Free Tilly, I'm sure I pronounced that wrong, so my apologies. Will, Viking Axe, my God. Slurpy Dave, Pub Beers and Jokes, hello, what's good, JD? Bro, this is why Rugby League is the greatest game of all. If you are 1 for 5, like myself, in your tipping for round one, as annoying as it is, it's actually great because it just proves that every game is unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. Tomorrow, the Bulldogs and Dragons might just win. Based off everything that's happened this weekend, bro, who knows? But, Cody, mate, how are you?
Yeah, I've been doing well so far. Yeah, surprising how round one has been so far. Despite Las Vegas last week, likely we'll see the trend continue with the favourites winning tomorrow, which I will not be too surprised if that's the case. And as you said, you were 1 and 5. I am 0 and 5 at the moment.
Oh,
Not a single
even worse.
tip yet.
Even worse.
So I can only get 3 out of 8 if the Titans, Cowboys, and Eels win their games.
Well, I've got the same. I've got Eels, Titans, Cowboys for the rest of the round. But no result would shock me now. After what we've seen, especially with the Canberra Raiders last night, it's just crazy. It's honestly crazy what's happening, man.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't believe some of these results. Let's get into the review, shall we? Let's get into the Warriors and Sharks game to begin, the early game. Wow. Cronulla, 16-12. Couple of things I want to note quickly that couple of things that I want to note quickly. The Sharks, in the first 20 minutes of this game, the New Zealand Warriors had 86% possession. Cronulla had about 14% of the ball. The Warriors got out to a 12-0 lead. Try scored from Adam Fanua-Blake and Luke Metcalf. It was 12-0 Warriors. Most teams would have been very intimidated. Most teams would have been scared to death because of the 12-0 lead and the atmosphere in New Zealand. But full credit to the Sharks. They fought their way back, and I thought they were extremely gutsy. What did you make of this game?
Yeah, it was very gutsy, just like a bit from like last night's game at the start. But miraculously, it was surprising to see the Sharks come back to win 16-12. I mean, usually around this time, Sharks don't usually beat a top 8 team, especially from last year. But yeah, it's just shocking, and I think that just put off some pressure from Fitzgibbon.
Well, a lot of people talk about the round one road trip, how hard it is to win away from home. And, going to New Zealand, getting a win in round one would arguably be in the top 3, top 4 hardest road trips to do. And it was a sellout at Mount Smart Stadium. So you had, well, I'm trying to think what the capacity is at New Zealand. I think it's like 25,000 they can fit there. To get that kind of crowd, and I thought it was very impressive. And the Sharks, wow. Defensively, second half, phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. The Warriors threw everything at the Sharks last 10 minutes, but some of the decision making from Sean Johnson wasn't on cue. Tuivasa-Sheck's first game back. I know they talk about trials and stuff, but trials are just a hit out, bro. This was his real first game. He needs a bit more time in the centers to adjust. That's a certainty. But overall, I thought the Sharks earned this win. They were down 12-0. They got back in the game. They got that try through Raymond, which was a little bit dodgy. Some people reckon he knocked the ball on. It was one of those 50-50 ones there. And then you had Ronaldo's try, which was terrific. Talakai as well. It's just the Sharks' defense was phenomenal in that second half.
Yes. But, I mean, credit to the Sharks where it's due. I mean, but everyone would think that obviously it's New Zealand. The Warriors would be the better team. But make the trip over there and get a win in New Zealand is very impressive, especially to start the year. Not many teams do that often these days.
Oh, bro, going to New Zealand and winning like that was it's a very tough place to win at.
Especially to come back from 12-0.
I mean, 12-0 is not the biggest comeback. I mean, it's obviously very good, but the thing that impressed me about the Sharks, Cody, is they're resilient in defense. They did not give up. 12-0 down in New Zealand in the first 12 minutes. I'm telling you, 80% of the NRL teams would have given up. If this was the Warriors leading 12-0 against, a Bulldogs, a Tigers, a Dragons, a Newcastle or fucking Canberra or whoever, majority of NRL teams wouldn't have came back from this. They would have just said, oh, nah, it's too hard. The atmosphere is killing us. Yeah, nah, too hard. But the Sharks proved tonight that they're not going to be easy beats. A lot of people have written off the Sharks this year, said they won't make the top 8, they won't do this, they won't do that. Me included, I have the Sharks outside my top 8, but they did prove tonight that they wanted to get off to a really good start, and they were serious. They wanted to prove a point, and I reckon they did tonight. They really proved a point. Because all the experts are saying the Sharks won't do anything this year, and the Sharks just told everyone, you need to talk about us. We're a good team. We're going to be up there at the end of the year. And they gave us something to talk about, the Sharks. Well played to them, I reckon.
Yep. I mean, good on the Sharks for earning this victory. Well deserved. Warriors.
Now,
I mean,
the Warriors. I've got a few negatives about the Warriors tonight. A couple of problems. I don't know what the hell they were doing with Jackson Ford out there. You can blame Jackson Ford all you want, but some of the plays that they had for him just weren't working. Metcalf and Johnson individually were good, but as a combination working together just wasn't the way you would have liked it. That didn't work out. Wade Egan as well, another HIA. I mean, seriously, I know Wade Egan's had a few HIAs over his time, so we're going to start talking about that. That's a little bit of a concern for the Warriors. I don't know. It's like the Warriors just got to 12-0 and they stopped playing. Sharks got that try before half time, and the game was different, bro. Ronaldo scored that try in the 41st minute, and it was a completely different game. The Warriors just, I don't know. It seems like they stopped playing footy, bro.
yeah, I mean, it's not the first time we've seen teams like that where they go to a lead and they think they've got the game in the bag. I mean, especially that it's within the first 20 minutes they lead 12-0.
Yeah.
But for what they did to let them to catch up, it's not a good result, and it's also a worry for how they're going to go this year if they're going to keep playing like this.
Well, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be okay, the Warriors. But they have a lot to work on, man. Now, a couple of stats I want to go through quickly. Blake Brayley had the most tackles. No surprise there. 45 tackles on Blake Brayley. Jackson Ford had the most tackles for the Warriors at 38. So you can understand why he was a bit tired with the ball because he made so many tackles. Tohu Harris, who I'll get to, he was outstanding tonight. 237 run meters. Phenomenal stuff from Tohu Harris. Talakai had 161 run meters. Let's have a look here. Some other stats. Yeah, not bad at all. Who do you think was good on the field tonight from the Warriors and Sharks? Who would you say were standouts for the Warriors?
Well, for Warriors, I would give it to Tohu Harris. I mean, for the brief time I watching the game for most of the second half, I reckon he was outstanding. Probably one of the better Warriors players.
Yeah.
Metcalf and Sean Johnson, yeah, they were okay, but obviously playing together as a
Fanua
combo.
Blake was outstanding.
I mean, Roger Sheck for his first game back since 2021. I think he was okay to say the least. I mean, he's usually a fullback, but he needs to work better if he's going to be playing in the centres.
Yeah, he was average as, bro. Very average.
And Jackson Ford, despite doing the most tackles for the Warriors, I mean, I think he played good tonight as well.
Yeah, look, I'm probably the opposite with Jackson Ford. I thought he was very average. I thought Addin Fanua-Blake was outstanding for the Warriors. 220 meters. My brother FaceTimed me before the game and he said, "Who do you reckon's going to score tonight?" And I said to him, "I don't know if he'll score, but I'm predicting Addin Fanua-Blake for 222 run meters. He ran for 220, so 2 meters off.
Right.
I nearly nailed that. Nearly nailed it. For me, the players that were good for the Warriors, Fanua-Blake, Harris was great, as he always is. I thought Dylan Walker off the bench made a great impact. I thought Montoya was very strong. Tan Tuapiki wasn't too bad as well, but needs to pass the ball a little bit more. Now, for the Sharks, who do you think was good for the Sharks tonight?
Now, I will say Ronaldo was good tonight. Kennedy, he was all right. Hines,
Yep.
he played a very good game tonight. And I would say Brayley. I think he had a phenomenal game tonight.
Brayley.
Yep.
Yeah. No, fair enough. For me, I thought Jesse Ramian was really good. I thought Ramian defensively did a terrific job on Tuivasa-Sheck. Thought Ramian was outstanding. I thought Talakai looked pretty good out there in the centers. Trindle and Hines were good as a combination. Like you said, Blake Brayley, very strong defensively. Royce Hunt had some good touches. Teague Wilton, very strong from him. And the bench, bro. I think this is where the Sharks got on top of the game. The bench. Hazelton, outstanding. Jack Williams, game 100, brilliant. Toby Rudolph, very good as well. They were, very, very good. But player of the game from the Warriors Sharks. Who would you pick?
Yeah, this one's quite tricky, but got to give it to a Sharks player. I reckon
Yep.
Brayley is my player of the match.
Blake Brayley.
Yep, very great in defense tonight.
I'm going to go with Jesse Ramian. He scored a try, which was a bit dodgy, but he got the ball down in the end. And defensively, he was outstanding on Tuivasa-Sheck. He was absolutely phenomenal, Jesse Ramian. So I'm going to give Ramian the player of the game. And well done to the Sharks on a very gutsy 16 points to 12 win over the Warriors. Moving on to the game that ended just before. Melbourne Storm keep the winning round one streak alive. It's incredible. Are they ever going to lose round one? Probably not. They just don't lose round one. They beat Penrith 8-0. Penrith were horrible. Let's just get it out there. Penrith were horrible. Their attack was terrible. They were very predictable too, like with their block plays, with the way they would set things up. They were so readable. They were predictable, bro. I thought Penrith were pretty bad. Melbourne obviously did well to win, but it wasn't a great game. Lots of errors. Attack from both teams was quite shit. Fauna was a really scrappy old game, to be honest. I'm not sure what your take on the game is, but Fortness was a really shitty, scrappy game.
Yeah, I mean, I did expect this game to be at least a contender for game of the round. Obviously,
everyone said it, eh? Everyone said it.
I mean, for the amount of errors, the amount of penalties, and a few calls that went wrong, I reckon this game was middle of the road. I mean, impressive for Melbourne to keep the three premiers held nil, which last time I believe Penrith was held scores was against Melbourne in 2022 in Penrith. Yep. And to keep their round one streak, they are now what 22-0 now, or 21-0.
2000 and something like that. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, and I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I'm glad the game's over. With all due respect to both teams, I'm glad the game's over. It was scrappy. It was sloppy. There was lots of errors. You would think they were playing with a fucking ball of soap out there, man. There was that many errors. 14 errors from Penrith, 11 from Melbourne. So, shocking, man.
Yeah, shocking. And you would expect better from two top four teams that finished in the top four last year, especially the team that's won 3 premierships in a row. First time ever in the NRL era.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this comment in the live chat is, but I'm not going to tolerate that, man. Time out. Can't be saying that, bro. That's pretty rude in my opinion. Yeah, look. I don't have much to say about this game. Melbourne continued their round one streak. Melbourne Storm defense was terrific and well played to them. Penrith didn't do much with the ball. They were very predictable. Their attack was shithouse. Luai kept running behind the wrong players with obstruction and whatnot. Speaking of that, Jerome Luai, what about the no try to Sonny Luke for obstruction? What did you make of that one?
Yeah, that one was quite surprising. I thought that was just going to be a perfect try for Penrith, and then obviously the obstruction call. I think it was heavily called, 50-50 called that one, but yeah, it was wild.
The reason why I have no problem with the Sonny Luke try is because Luai clearly runs behind Luke Garner. I know Jerome Hughes slips, and he would never have gotten there to stop the try. I understand that, but you can't run behind the decoy runner and play on like that, even if the defender does slip over and it's their own fault. You can't run behind your own player. That's the rule. So
Yeah,
I knew straight away it wasn't going to be a try. I saw him run down the sideline. I'm like, oh, that looked like an obstruction to me. And Andrew Johns said it pretty much straight away on Channel 9. So pretty obvious decision there. But, bro, I guess the other thing I want to mention as well, there was 15 penalties in this game. Jared Sutton, look, I know Melbourne and Penrith both pushed the boundaries a bit. And they do tend to, you know, push boundaries for penalties and shit like that. But 15 penalties, a little bit too much for me, man. I think that was about 9 in the first half. So I think Sutton needs to put the whistle away a little bit.
yeah. I mean, it was out of his control. I mean, obviously, wasn't a great game, but even though the penalty count should be a lot less than what it should be, especially in a great caliber game that it should have been.
Yeah. Now, it was an interesting game. Melbourne, obviously, the best part about Melbourne's game tonight was their goal line defense, keeping Penrith to 0, and their round 1 streak continues. Let's have a look at some of the players that stood out. For Penrith, though, obviously, for me, Cody, there wasn't many for Penrith that were great. I'd say the best players for Penrith tonight, I thought Taylor May was outstanding. I thought Taylor May looked really good out there in the centres. I thought Isaiah Yeo was fucking phenomenal. He was probably their best player, to be completely honest with you. And I thought the young back rower, I think he's a front row, but played a bit of back row. I thought Liam Henry did some good things out there for the Panthers, but outside of them three, everyone else was shithouse.
Yeah, Penrith not in their best form, but you never know how they can go for the following week. They usually bounce back well if they get defeated, especially like that. I mean, we
Yeah,
haven't seen them like that in a long time. But I reckon
yeah,
the best Penrith player for me was Taylor May as well. I mean,
yeah,
he missed an entire season with an ACL injury last year, and to see him come back and playing the centres when he's normally a winger was impressive for him
yeah.
tonight.
Well, it's transitioned to a centre now, and he looked great out there. He really did. Now for Melbourne, the winning team, they had a few standout players. I know it was a crappy old game, but Remus Smith and Nick Meaney in the centres, I thought they were both pretty good. I thought Xavier Coates was really strong. Pappenhausen was brave a little bit. He took some tough carries, Pappenhausen, and he took some of those bombs really well from Cleary. Thought in the younger half, Jonah Pezzett did some really good things. I thought obviously Munster was ruled out. I thought Pezzett played really well. Jerome Hughes was great. His kicking game was outstanding. Kamikamifa really gave it to him. Eli Katoa gave it to him, I thought Josh King in the middle was solid. And you know what? I really criticised this bloke last year. And he deserved it because of how bad he was. But I thought off the bench, I thought Christian Welsh had a much improved game. Ran for 111 metres off the bench. I thought he was very good.
Well, very good from him. And I think it's better if he starts on the bench rather than in the starting
In the starting
spot.
side, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But
Yeah, I think you're right.
yeah, overall, good on Melbourne for tonight. I mean, obviously not their best game, but it's just still round 1. I mean, you never know how round 1 will go for any of the teams, especially the top 4 teams. But
Yeah.
a few players for tonight, I reckon. Peasant, who covered for Munster, played good. Hughes, he was all right tonight. Paffenhauser, good to see him back for his first regular season game since last year. and was
Yeah, he was
very
good.
very impressive with all those bombs he caught as well.
Who would
And
you give?
yeah,
Who would you pick for player of the game if you had to pick just one?
yeah, quite tough, but I might have to. I'll probably give it to Bremner Smith for me.
Oh yeah, the center, Raymond Smith. Yeah.
Yep.
Look, I'm going to give it to Jerome Hughes. His kicking game was terrific, and I think he was the difference tonight, man. I'm just going to go with Jerome Hughes. I was impressed by him. As he's underrated, bro. He's the most underrated halfback in the game. I don't care what anyone says. He was great. So I'm
Yeah, he
going
was great.
Jerome Hughes.
Yeah, even if
All right.
Munster was there, it would have been a lot more better for Melbourne.
Yeah, nah, probably. All right, bro. That is going to wrap up the review. Thanks for coming on, bro. And probably see you next time, whenever that will be. Could be tomorrow, could be Tuesday, whatever. But thank you very much for coming on, brother.
Yeah, no worries, Nick. Great to be on for the first review of, or second
Friday
review
night
for
footy.
YouTube. But
Friday night
it's
footy.
just great to have the footy back, and let's hope that we get our tip teams correct tomorrow for once.
Well, after
Tickets
what I've
about it.
fucking seen this weekend, I'm not confident with any fucking game, tipping wise.
No,
All right. Thank you all in the live chat for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night, and see you guys tomorrow for the Saturday night football review between Parramatta and Canterbury and the Gold Coast and St. George. Until next time, take care, everyone, and see you later.